In the quiet suburb of Willow Creek, Adrian, the man who had been blind for years, underwent a revolutionary surgery that restored his sight, but he decided to keep this secret from his wife, Clara. Enjoying the new world that had opened up before him, Adrian saw his life with new eyes, only to discover a terrifying truth about the woman he thought he knew so well. What he saw drove him to file for divorce, leaving everyone around him in shock. Adrian couldn't believe what he was seeing. His wife had been lying to him for years. "Hello, Mr. Hawthorne, are you there?" Someone on the other end of the line asked, but Adrian couldn't hear. All the sounds around him faded away, and he felt as if the world had stopped turning. How could he ever begin to trust his wife again after this? It was no surprise that Adrian was in complete shock. He thought that regaining his sight would be the start of a new life, but he never imagined that this life would be without Clara. More than anything, he wished he could forgive her and move on, but he simply couldn't. If she had betrayed him, maybe he could have forgiven her, but this went beyond all limits. Driven by anger and betrayal, Adrian confronted his wife. At first, she tried to turn things against him, but she quickly realized there was no escaping the truth. She had made a terrible mistake, and now Adrian wanted a divorce. Clara was not the woman Adrian thought she was. This was a painful discovery of betrayal, and he couldn't imagine how he could ever get over it. But why didn't Adrian tell his wife about the surgery? And what did he see that made him file for divorce? It was supposed to be a surprise for his wife. Adrian wanted to hold a beautiful second wedding to renew their vows, a ceremony he could fully enjoy. As you see, Adrian was blind when they first met, so he never saw Clara in her wedding dress. This was something she had always wished he could have witnessed. It was hard to keep this a secret, since the recovery period from the surgery could take a month. And his vision wasn't completely clear at first, but somehow Adrian was able to adapt to the situation. When he was blind, he always wore sunglasses, so he kept doing that so his wife wouldn't notice his swollen or red eyes. And every time he had to use his eye drops, he made sure she wasn't in the room. As the weeks went by, Adrian started to see more and more of the world he had never seen before. He felt torn between not telling his wife and his desire to share some moments with her, like seeing her clearly for the first time. He remembered being deeply moved when he discovered that Clara was even more beautiful than he had imagined now, and after his vision returned to normal, he could finally start planning the second secret wedding. It was strange to use things he had never been able to use before, or to use them in a completely different way, and doing so in secret made it even more difficult. So Adrian decided that he needed to leave his house for a while. He felt that regaining his sight was a completely new adventure, and he couldn't wait to share and explore this new world with his beloved wife. He took a week off from work and told his wife that he was going on a business trip. Clara was a bit suspicious because Adrian had never traveled on a business trip before, but she saw it as a perfect opportunity for him. Lying to his wife didn't feel comfortable, but Adrian knew it was the right thing to do in order to plan his surprise perfectly. He booked a room in a hotel outside the city and started learning how to use the computer again. There were Braille letters on the keyboard, which helped him a lot because he didn't know the real alphabet yet. He was fascinated by the world around him, seeing everything for the first time. He didn't know that soon he would wish he had never had the surgery at all. While he was planning everything in detail, he suddenly faced a strange problem. After choosing the catering company that would guarantee the most delicious food for everyone, he received an email stating that his credit card had been declined. Adrian was sure that couldn't be right, since he worked 32 hours a week and received compensation from the government. Immediately, Adrian contacted the catering service, his fingers trembling slightly as he typed an email, insisting that there must be some mistake with his credit card. The idea that anything could jeopardize his surprise wedding plan made his stomach churn, but he forced himself to smile, trying to stay optimistic in the face of doubt. This wedding was more than just an event. It was a symbol of his new life and his new love for Clara. Despite the setback with the credit card, Adrian didn't let despair cloud his vision. He closed his laptop with a gentle click, a glint of determination in his eyes, and headed into the city for his appointment at the flower shop. He held on to hope that this small obstacle wouldn't ruin his plan. The surprise for Clara meant everything to him, and he wouldn't let anything stand in his way. The day turned into something brighter. When his card transaction was processed smoothly at the cafe, a wave of relief washed over him, and he couldn't help but smile. Maybe the problem with the food service was just a coincidence, or a temporary glitch in the system. These small victories injected a fresh dose of optimism into his plans, and he stepped out into the sunlight feeling re-energized. Inside the flower shop, Adrian was surrounded by an explosion of colors and scents. He carefully chose each flower for the vow renewal ceremony, imagining how each one would contribute to the beauty of the day. The guidance of the sellers was helpful, but it was his heart that made the final decisions. Overwhelmed by the growing challenges, Adrian considered taking a drastic step, confessing his wounds to Clara before the scheduled date. The heavy weight of his secret, which he carried while waiting for happiness, had now become an unbearable burden. He longed for the relief that honesty might bring, hoping it could be a bridge to close the gap his silence had created between them. With a deep breath, Adrian made one last attempt to log into his online bank account. Finally, success. He was granted access to the screen in front of him, and it felt like a small victory. In the midst of the chaos, he composed himself, realizing that what he was about to discover could change everything. The anticipation of uncovering the truth was both a source of relief and anxiety at the same time. As he reviewed the recent activities, Adrian's heart sank. The unusual transactions and unexplained withdrawals painted a picture of betrayal. Each entry was a blow to his trust, revealing a breach in the financial security he thought he had. The truth began to reveal itself before him, leaving him to deal with the consequences of these discoveries. Driven by a mix of anger and determination, Adrian rushed home. The journey felt endless, each mile a blend of anticipation and anxiety. His thoughts were a storm, trying to piece together the fragments of betrayal hinted at by the bank statements. He knew that the confrontation was inevitable, and with every passing moment, his resolve grew stronger. When he arrived home, he found Clara in a state of calm, a stark contrast to the storm raging inside him. Seeing her apparently unaffected by the crisis only intensified his feelings. The air was charged with tension, and the silence between them was heavy with unspoken accusations. Adrian knew this was the moment of truth, the beginning of a confrontation that had been simmering for a long time. A look of astonishment was clear on Clara's face when she saw Adrian. Without his usual accessories, his sunglasses and cane were nowhere to be seen. The revelation of his restored sight, which was supposed to be a joyful surprise, now felt like the first blow in their confrontation. His appearance without assistance and his ability to see were signs of a pivotal shift in their relationship, setting the stage for an important exchange of truths under Adrian's steady gaze. Clara's defenses crumbled with a broken voice weighed down by guilt, as she confessed to using his money to cover her mounting debts from her gambling addiction. It felt as if the room was spinning around him while Adrian absorbed her words, each one a blow to the foundation their life together was built on. Clara's confession was a stark revelation of the secret life she had been living, hidden from his eyes that were blinded by trust. Adrian felt a deep sense of devastation wash over him, as Clara's words overwhelmed him. Realizing the depth of the betrayal, not just of their money, but also of their trust, left him feeling disoriented. Her addiction, a dark shadow over their marriage, had finally come to light, revealing the cracks it had created in their relationship. The person he thought he knew was hidden behind a web of lies. The shocking revelation forced Adrian to reevaluate everything he thought he knew about their relationship. The trust and love he once felt were now in question, tainted by the truth of Clara's actions. Clara's confession, which revealed her gambling addiction and financial betrayal, was the final blow to their already crumbling relationship. Adrian felt a deep sadness as the last remnants of their connection seemed to unravel before his eyes. This revelation was more than just a betrayal of trust. It was a fundamental betrayal of their partnership, leaving Adrian mourning the loss of what they once shared. After Clara's confession, Adrian was forced to confront the painful truth of their situation. Once the betrayal was revealed, it could not be ignored or erased. With deep pain, he admitted that moving forward meant leaving the remnants of their broken relationship behind. This was a solemn acceptance of the end, a necessary step toward healing and finding a new way to navigate the world again, after the shadows left by the betrayal. After much inner turmoil, Adrian decided to end their marriage. This decision, although heartbreaking, opened the door to a new beginning. Realizing that moving forward meant leaving Clara behind was terrifying, but it was necessary. It was a step into the unknown, driven by the desire to rebuild his life on a foundation of honesty and integrity, far from the shadows of deceit that had surrounded their union. Adrian's choice to divorce marked a major turning point. It was not just the end of their marriage, but the closing of a chapter filled with love and betrayal. As he stood on the threshold of this new era, Adrian felt a mixture of sadness and liberation. The future was uncertain, but it promised freedom from the deceit that had surrounded his past, offering a blank canvas for the next chapter. Adrian's transitions were filled with moments of deep reflection. Each day brought opportunities for growth and a deeper understanding of himself. In the silence of solitude, he found clarity, slowly redefining himself, far from the constraints of his marriage. These moments of bitter contemplation combined the pain of the past with the hopeful promise of personal renewal and progress. The journey through the aftermath of his divorce taught him the true meaning of resilience as he faced the new world. He learned valuable lessons about trust, not only in others, but also in himself. The process of moving forward after grief and betrayal clarified the path toward a stronger and more honest self. With every step ahead, Adrian embraced the challenges, turning them into building blocks toward a future full of hope and new beginnings. Adrian saw the world with new eyes, finding beauty in the simplicity of daily moments. This period of rediscovery was not just about seeing the world anew, but about understanding his place within it. Joy came from unexpected sources, a sunset he could now see, the laughter of strangers. The many layers of life that he had missed every day were a step toward reclaiming his identity and experiencing life without a filter. Through his journey, Adrian learned the value of relationships built on honesty and mutual respect. He entered new relationships with a guided spirit, enlightened by the lessons learned from his past. These new connections were different. They were built on a foundation of transparency and understanding. Adrian found comfort in these relationships, each one a testament to his growth and his commitment to living authentically. With cautious optimism, Adrian allowed himself to believe in love once again. This was not a reckless leap, but a calculated step forward, guided by hope and a new understanding of what it truly means to share your life with others. He was writing a new chapter, one where the wounds of the past still lingered, but no longer defined the future. It was a time of plans and anticipated dreams, all pointing toward a horizon full of possibilities. As time passed, Adrian's heart found its home, and love grew into a partnership built on trust, where a new family story was woven. This family was built on the principles of honesty and shared experiences. Adrian's greatest achievement was that together, they created a life rich in love and mutual respect, a testament to Adrian's belief in the possibility of new beginnings and the power of second chances. Adrian's life with his new family was a beacon of hope, symbolizing the renewal of happiness that comes after the greatest storms. Adrian reflected on his journey, realizing the valuable lessons he had learned along the way. Trust, even if it is broken, can be rebuilt. Resilience lies in the ability to rise after falling, and change, though frightening, was the only path to growth. These lessons became the pillars of his new life. He was guided as he navigated the complexities of love, forgiveness, and personal growth. As he looked ahead, Adrian felt a surge of optimism. The future, which was once shrouded in uncertainty, now shone with possibilities. He envisioned a life rich with love, understanding, and endless opportunities for new beginnings. The shadows that once loomed over him had receded, replaced by the light of hope and the warmth of family love. For Adrian, the future was not only bright, but it also radiated with promise. Adrian's life story, woven from threads of challenges and triumphs, was a testament to the beauty of starting anew. His journey from betrayal to finding love again was a powerful story of the healing strength that comes from hope. It showed the resilience of the human spirit, capable of overcoming deep wounds to embrace happiness once more. His story was a beacon for others, a reminder that even in the darkest moments of despair, hope can lead you to love and fulfillment. Adriani's transformation from a world of darkness to one illuminated by love and new beginnings was a profound celebration of the human capacity for change. It was truly inspiring and delivered a clear message of hope and faith that there is light at the end of the tunnel. His life, which was once a collection of scattered moments and memories, is now a testament to the power of hope, love, and the willingness to embrace change.